A good name is better than fine perfume. Sorrow is better than laughter. The day of death is better than the day of birth.
Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take your source material and plunge directly into the kind of knowledge that, well, that challenges pretty much everything we assume.
Today, we are taking a deep dive into an extraordinary set of sources. The wisdom sayings in Chapter 7 of Ecclesiastes. And for those of you who appreciate wisdom, that just flips the script. This is it.
Oh, absolutely.
Our mission today is to unpack these sayings, really focusing on the most counterintuitive points and figure out what they demand of us, in our own lives.
And what's immediately clear is that the teacher, he sets up this deliberate tension. He argues for the superiority of things we all try to avoid.
Right, like sorrow, death.
Exactly. Sorrow, visiting a house of mourning, just thinking about mortality. He puts that over the things we're told to chase. Laughter, pleasure, instant gratification. It's an ancient text that feels surprisingly current.
It really does. It's like a direct challenge to the idea that you have to be happy all the time.
It is. So let's just jump in.
Okay, so let's unpack this, starting with that opening statement, the one that links character and pleasure. A good name is better than fine perfume, and the day of death is better than the day of birth.
That first part, a good name is better than fine perfume. It's designed to make you prioritize. It forces you to choose what lasts over what's, fleeting.
Fine perfume is such a great metaphor for that.
It's perfect, isn't it?
It
It's
is.
the ultimate, immediate sensory pleasure. It smells wonderful, it gets you attention, but it's gone in a few hours. A day, maybe.
So the modern analogy, I'm thinking a good name, is like a long-term investment in your character. And the fine perfume is that viral social media post.
Yes.
It gives you that huge dopamine hit for 24 hours, and then it's gone, forgotten.
Precisely. The challenge is what you prioritize. Are you building a reputation for integrity, faithfulness, for service? Or are you just chasing the quick hits of pleasure and recognition?
Yep.
He's arguing that your character, that good name, is a currency that will serve you long after every temporary joy has faded.
Yeah.
It really makes you ask yourself, what did people say about me when I'm not in the room?
And that idea of a lasting legacy leads right into the second part, which is, it's even more shocking. The day of death is better than the day of birth. That sounds so brutal to our modern ears. We're all about, endless growth and staying young forever. Why would he possibly say that?
The reasoning is, it's purely philosophical. The day of birth is just a beginning. It's potential. It's hope, yes, but it's also a blank page. You don't know the story yet.
At the day of death.
The day of death is the conclusion. It's when the whole story is finally written. It's the only point from which you can look back and evaluate a life's true meaning. The character that was built, the name that was made, or wasted.
So contemplating mortality isn't morbid, it's clarifying.
Exactly. And he explains this by contrasting the house of mourning with the house of feasting.
Yeah, talk about that. Why is one so much more instructive than the other?
Well, the house of feasting, the party, it's all about right now. The joy, the distraction. It encourages this kind of tunnel vision on the present. But a house of mourning, a funeral, it forces you to zoom out. It makes you reflect on the scope and the end of a life. And when you're confronted with that, you can't help but live more thoughtfully. It clarifies your priorities.
Which brings us to, I think, the core idea here that just pushes back so hard against our culture today.
Right.
Sorrow is better than laughter because a sad face is good for the heart. That's a direct shot at what some people call toxic positivity.
That's a perfect connection. Toxic positivity is that cultural demand to just suppress anything negative. Frame sadness or doubt as a failure that you need to fix immediately. Just smile.
And the teacher here is saying, no, wait. There's a use for that sorrow.
A vital use. He says it's actually the superior experience because laughter, as great as it is often an escape. It's a distraction.
Whereas
Sorrow, if you actually sit with it, it's an instructor. It slows you down, it makes you humble, and it forces you to look inward. Think about it. Any major period of growth in your own life, it probably didn't come from a moment of just pure fun. It came from something difficult, a loss, a failure, a time you had to reassess everything.
It's the difference between a fleeting moment and a fundamental shift in who you are. The source says fools just chase the house of pleasure.
Right, the easy distraction. Well, the wise person understands that the necessary pain of the house of mourning, or whatever form sorrow takes, that's where the real growth happens. So the takeaway for you, the listener, is this. Don't waste your sorrows by just trying to run away from them.
That completely shifts the perspective. It demands endurance. And it feels like this longer view applies to our daily decisions, too. I mean, how does this ancient wisdom handle our modern impatience?
It does. And this is where it transitions so well from these big existential ideas to really practical advice. If you commit to that long view, to building a good name, then you have to master patience.
The source says, the end of a matter is better than its beginning, and patience is better than pride. What's that link between patience and the end of a matter?
Well, the end is better because it's about completion. It's fulfillment. Nobody really values a project that was started with huge enthusiasm and then, just abandoned.
Right.
To finish anything worthwhile requires that patient endurance. And the problem with pride is that it makes us demand success now.
That feels like such a direct critique of our culture's obsession with, scaling fast and getting immediate results. Pride says, I deserve this now. I shouldn't have to go through the slow process.
Exactly. Pride prevents the patience you need to learn, to make corrections, to master a craft. It makes us rush. And that almost always leads to foolish decisions. The source even warns against being quickly provoked, saying that anger lives in the lap of fools.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting, especially for navigating public life today. The teacher warns against imbalance. He says, don't be over-righteous or over-wise, but also don't be over-wicked or foolish. A warning against extremes.
This is so important for a polarized age. What does he mean by over-righteous? He's not saying don't be good. He's warning against legalistic self-righteousness.
The kind of rigidity that judges everyone else.
Exactly. It removes all grace from your interactions. It's a moral superiority complex that just isolates you.
And on the other side, you've got the over-wicked, which sounds like using freedom as an excuse for just reckless behavior.
Correct. It's careless license. The pursuit of wisdom demands balance. You strive for what's right, but you don't let it curdle into a pride that looks down on everyone. You enjoy life, but you don't let that become an excuse for destructive choices.
So the goal is to walk that line.
Yeah.
Avoid the rigidity of a zealot and the recklessness of the fool.
Yes, and that balanced approach is what gives wisdom its practical power, which the teacher highlights next.
Right. Wisdom isn't just an abstract idea, it's a practical force. The source makes this incredible claim. Wisdom makes one person more powerful than 10 rulers.
I mean, that statement just tells you everything. The foresight, the balanced judgment, the long-term view you get from wisdom, it has exponential returns. It's a shelter. It preserves life in a way that just having money can't.
Money can disappear.
It can vanish overnight. But sound judgment, once you've built it, that protects you.
Yeah.
And you need that protection because life is fundamentally unpredictable.
Which brings us back to humility and acceptance.
Absolutely. The principle of acceptance is central here. When times are good, the advice is simple. Be happy. Enjoy it. But when times are bad, we have to pause and consider that, well, God made both.
Both prosperity and adversity.
Both. And they exist for a reason. We can't expect to control everything. We can't straighten what God has made crooked or know the future. It requires this deep trust, even when things don't make sense.
Which pushes back against that modern urge to fix every problem instantly.
Right. And accepting this messy reality leads the teacher to a very blunt conclusion about human nature.
It's a necessary reality check. He looks at humanity and concludes, there isn't a righteous person on earth who always does right and never sins.
It's a universal diagnosis. We're all imperfect.
And realizing that is supposed to lead us toward humility and grace.
Crucially, grace. If you recognize your own failings, you shouldn't be so shocked or sensitive when you hear someone speaking badly of you. I mean, let's be honest, we've all done the same to others.
Yeah.
It's a call to let go of that hypersensitivity.
Okay, but then the teacher makes this really controversial statement. He says he found one upright man among 1,000, but not one upright woman among them all.
Yeah, and we have to understand this in its context. The teacher's search was limited by his society. He was mostly observing people in public life, rulers, merchants, public figures. His access to women in those kinds of roles was extremely limited.
So the key isn't the specific number or the gender divide.
Exactly. The main point is universal. Truly, consistently upright people are exceptionally rare. And knowing that should stop us from judging others too harshly. If we recognize this universal imperfection, we can extend grace when a colleague or a partner messes up.
We can't hold others to a standard we can't even meet ourselves.
You can't. And despite all his searching, all his determination to be wise, the teacher ends on this profound note of intellectual humility.
Whoa.
True, Complete wisdom was still beyond his reach.
So even for him, the deepest questions remain a mystery.
They did. We have to be comfortable saying, I don't know. Sometimes the greatest wisdom is just knowing how little you actually know.
So let's bring this all together. We started with these ancient sayings that turn everything upside down. Sorrow is better than laughter, patience better than pride. What does this mean for us today?
Well, this whole chapter is a direct, powerful antidote to a culture that's just obsessed with instant happiness and, surface-level satisfaction. By validating sorrow and difficulty, the teacher calls us to genuine depth. He's telling us, don't chase the perfume, build the name.
The call is for depth, for patient endurance, and for avoiding those rigid ideological extremes. Invest in your character, not your fleeting pleasures.
So if sorrow and difficult seasons are meant to refine us, then you, the listener, have to ask yourself a question. How can you move past just trying to escape your current hard time and instead ensure that you do not waste your sorrow? How can you let it refine you toward that better reputation and that more patient character? That's the real challenge. And on that note, we encourage you to continue exploring, learning, and diving deep into stories that inspire and challenge you. Until next time.